Spies are amazing. I've always been interested in them since I was a child, and the secrecy that surrounds them is a fascinating enigma that was just waiting to be solved. So, for my research project this year, I chose to research the act of espionage. Mainly, government funded espionage and how it has fueled political agendas throughout each country. I focused on influential countries like Germany, Great Britain, France, and the United States. Throughout my research, I compiled a list of texts that outline a variety of espionage. My texts range from Christopher Marlowe in the 16th century to Napoleon in 1812 and World War II and World War I spies. With this vast variety, I was able to learn about each country and how they used their spies and how they differed from the ones around them. During my research, I found that countries have three main uses of spies. These are spies working on the war front, observing human nature, and creating political propaganda. Warfront spies were used to gather intel on opposing countries and infiltrate their ranks to stop attacks. These attacks and ending wars quickly was the biggest reason to have espionage in a country. Codebreakers, too, helped move this along in the war effort. O'Donnell, Bailey, and Downing, under my major works, each have texts that outline specific uses of spies that talk about warfront. O'Donnell focuses on following a spy throughout his training and his missions and how they help during their country's efforts, while Bailey focuses on partisans and guerrillas during World War II and how it helped end Hitler's reign over the European countries. Taylor Downing's was the most interesting one that I had read because it was about codebreakers of World War I. It hit everything that I found with propaganda, code breaking, and reconnaissance. Basically, every possible thing that you could be used for being a spy was in that book. On the human front, the spies were used to gain intel on the aspect of human life. Christopher Marlowe did this in Honen's book about him. He used his intel to gauge who were threats and who were friends for the Elizabethan government. The political front was one of the smallest uses of spies. In Downing's Secret Warriors, Spies, Scientists, and Codebreakers of World War I, we were able to see that spies gathered information for propaganda for or against an institution, which is pretty typical of each type of attack to use. For my future study, I would like to narrow down on cultural practices and differences that spies had to overcome on missions. For example, if these spies were taught languages or if they knew other languages, so that's why they were recruited to be a spy. I would also very much like to take the angle of women in espionage and compare them with their male counterparts. I want to know if women have more success on missions or if men have more success on missions, just to see how their stories differ and how cultural practices differ too. My theory is that they can use their gender to blend into society easier than a male can. It's just proven that women are seen as less of a threat than men are. So that is my research project. I had a lot of fun researching different spies and learning about different spies and how they work and how the government uses them and all that really fun stuff. It really helped me find a sense of what I could have been if I were a spy instead of a historian. So, thank you for listening and have fun.